A brief history of space tourism. The concept of space tourism has evolved significantly since its inception. In 2001, Dennis Tito became the first self-funded space tourist, marking a pivotal moment in commercial space travel. His journey aboard a Russian Soyuz spacecraft to the International Space Station demonstrated the feasibility of civilian space travel. Space Voyage Ventures +1 Winchan Pooley. Com+1 following Tito's voyage, companies like Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin emerged, aiming to make space accessible to non-astronauts. Virgin Galactic focused on suborbital flights, offering brief experiences of weightlessness, while Blue Origin developed reusable rockets for similar purposes. Space Voyage Ventures SpaceX entered the scene with ambitions beyond suborbital flights, successfully launching private astronauts into orbit. Their missions, including the all-civilian Inspiration 4, showcased the potential for extended space tourism experiences. WinchanPooley.com. These milestones collectively signify the transition of space travel from government-led missions to commercial ventures. Setting the stage for the burgeoning space tourism industry, current players in the space tourism market, several companies are at the forefront of space tourism. Virgin Galactic offers suborbital flights using its Spaceship Two vehicle, providing passengers with a few minutes of weightlessness. Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket also facilitates suborbital experiences, emphasizing safety and reusability. SpaceX distinguishes itself by offering orbital missions. Their Crew Dragon spacecraft has transported private individuals to the ISS, offering multi-day stays in space. These missions represent a significant leap in commercial space travel. Emerging companies are also entering the market. For instance, Space Perspective plans to offer high-altitude balloon flights, providing panoramic views of Earth without reaching space. Such ventures diversify the options available to aspiring space tourists. Travel Panda +1. Everything Luxury +1. Notable milestones achieved. The space tourism industry has witnessed several significant achievements. Dennis Tito's 2001 journey marked the beginning, followed by other private individuals visiting the ISS. These missions demonstrated the viability of civilian space travel. WinchanPooley.com +1 Space Voyage Ventures +1 Architectural Digest +4 Space Voyage Ventures +4 WinchanPooley.com. 4. In 2021, Virgin Galactic's Richard Branson and Blue Origin's Jeff Bezos both completed suborbital flights, garnering widespread attention. These events highlighted the readiness of commercial spaceflight for paying customers. Space Voyage Ventures, SpaceX's inspiration for mission in September 2021, was groundbreaking. As it was the first all-civilian orbital flight, the crew spent 3 days orbiting Earth, conducting research and enjoying the view, setting a new precedent for private space missions. WinchanPooley.com. These milestones underscore the rapid progress in making space tourism a tangible reality for non-professionals. Luxury beyond Earth space tourism isn't just about reaching space. It's about the experience. Companies are investing in luxurious amenities to attract affluent customers. For instance, some plans include gourmet meals prepared by renowned chefs, tailored for microgravity conditions. Travel Panda +7 luxury launches +7 time +7 everything luxury panoramic windows are a staple in spacecraft designs, offering breathtaking views of Earth. These vistas provide a unique perspective, often described as life-changing by astronauts. Future concepts involve space hotels with customizable living pods, advanced climate control, and recreational activities like zero-gravity basketball. Such facilities aim to combine comfort with the novelty of space. Luxury launches +2, everything luxury +2, Architectural Digest +2. These luxurious offerings cater to a niche market, positioning space tourism as the ultimate adventure for the wealthy, at the cost of space travel. Currently, space tourism is an expensive endeavor. Suborbital flights with companies like Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin range from $200,000 to $500,000 per seat. Orbital missions, such as those offered by SpaceX, can cost tens of millions of dollars per passenger. SpaceChatter.com. These high costs are due to the complex technology, safety measures, and limited availability. As the industry matures, economies of scale and technological advancements may reduce prices, making space travel more accessible. Some companies are exploring alternative models, like high-altitude balloon flights, which could offer near-space experiences at a fraction of the cost. These options might serve as stepping stones for broader public participation. Nevertheless, for the foreseeable future, space tourism remains a luxury reserved for the affluent. The future of space tourism, the horizon of space tourism, is expanding. Companies are planning orbital hotels, such as the Voyager station, which aims to accommodate hundreds of guests with artificial gravity and luxury amenities. Lunar tourism is also on the agenda. SpaceX's Starship is being developed with the goal of transporting civilians around the moon, potentially as early as the late 2020s. Mars colonization, while more distant, is a long-term objective for some companies. These ambitious plans signify a shift from short-term experiences to extended stays and even permanent settlements in space. As technology advances and costs decrease, space tourism could evolve from a novelty to a mainstream travel option. Environmental concerns. Space tourism's environmental impact is a growing concern. Rocket launches emit significant amounts of greenhouse gases and black carbon, which can contribute to climate change and ozone. Layer depletion. The production and disposal of spacecraft also pose environmental challenges. Debris from launches can accumulate in Earth's orbit, increasing the risk of collisions and space junk. Space voyage ventures. Some companies are exploring greener technologies, such as reusable rockets and alternative fuels, to mitigate these effects. However, the balance between innovation and environmental responsibility remains delicate. As the industry grows, regulatory frameworks may be necessary to ensure sustainable practices in space tourism. Social inequality. The exclusivity of space tourism raises ethical questions about social inequality. With ticket prices in the hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, only the ultra-wealthy can afford these experiences. LinkedIn +1, dailytelegraph.com. +1. This disparity may exacerbate existing social divides, creating a perception of space as a domain reserved for the elite. Critics argue that resources invested in space tourism could be directed toward pressing issues on Earth. Proponents contend that the industry could drive technological advancements and economic growth, eventually benefiting a broader population. They envision a future where space travel becomes more affordable and inclusive. Addressing these concerns requires deliberate efforts to democratize access and ensure that the benefits of space tourism extend beyond a privileged few. Contributions to space exploration. Space tourism can play a role in advancing space exploration. Revenue from commercial flights can fund research and development, leading to innovations in spacecraft design, life support systems, and propulsion technologies. Tourist missions also provide opportunities to test new technologies and gather data in real-world conditions. These insights can inform future missions, including those aimed at scientific discovery and planetary exploration. Moreover, increased public interest in space tourism can bolster support for space programs and inspire the next generation of scientists and engineers. By integrating tourism with exploration, the industry can contribute to a sustainable and progressive spacefaring future. Safety concerns. Space travel inherently involves risks. Potential hazards include launch failures, exposure to radiation, and the challenges of re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. Ensuring passenger safety is paramount for the industry's credibility and growth. Companies implement rigorous testing and safety protocols, but unforeseen issues can still arise. The complexity of space missions means that absolute safety cannot be guaranteed. Accidents or incidents could have significant repercussions, both in terms of human life and public perception. Maintaining transparency and continuous improvement in safety measures is essential. As the industry evolves, collaboration with regulatory bodies and adherence to international safety standards will be crucial. Health risks. Space travel poses various health risks. Microgravity can lead to muscle atrophy and bone density loss, while radiation exposure increases the risk of cancer and other illnesses. Psychological effects such as isolation and confinement can impact mental health. Short-term tourists may experience motion sickness and disorientation. Space Generation Advisory Council pre-flight training and medical screenings are necessary to prepare passengers and mitigate risks. Post-flight rehabilitation may also be required, depending on the mission's duration and intensity. Ongoing research aims to develop countermeasures and improve the safety and comfort of space travelers. Education and inspiration for the next generation, the rise of space tourism is sparking a new wave of excitement among young students, fueling dreams of exploring the cosmos. Unlike previous generations who saw space as something distant and reserved for NASA astronauts, today's youth are growing up with the idea that a trip to space might actually be within their reach. This shift in mindset creates fertile ground to inspire the next generation of scientists, engineers, explorers, and innovators. In schools and universities, space tourism is already making its way into curricula, science fairs, and astronomy clubs. Children watch live rocket launches, follow vlogs from space tourists, and dream of building their own spacecraft. This creates a powerful ripple effect, boosting interest in subjects like math, physics, engineering, and coding, all essential skills for the emerging space economy. What's more, the inclusion of civilians, artists, teachers, and citizen scientists on these space flights humanizes space exploration. It's no longer just about elite astronauts, but about ordinary people having extraordinary experiences. This broadens the audience's connection and plants seeds of curiosity in millions of minds around the globe. The educational and inspirational potential of space tourism may be one of its most powerful legacies. Beyond luxury travel, these missions have the power to transform perspectives and build a generation that sees the sky not as a limit, but as the next step for humankind. Economic opportunities in the space tourism industry. The emergence of space tourism is not just a marvel of science, it's a budding economic engine with the potential to reshape global markets. As more companies enter the race to space, the industry is generating new jobs across aerospace engineering, manufacturing, hospitality, and research. What was once a niche reserved for government programs is now a private sector boom, full of business possibilities. Entire ecosystems are being built around the idea of commercial space travel, from spaceport infrastructure and spacecraft manufacturing to specialized training programs for civilian astronauts. Countless industries are tapping into this growing demand. Startups and investors alike are racing to create supporting technologies, such as zero-gravity hotels, spacesuits for non-professionals, and even extraterrestrial cuisine. The ripple effect is already evident on Earth. Tourism agencies are forming partnerships with spaceflight companies. Universities are launching space entrepreneurship programs, and countries are investing in becoming future launch hubs. The economic benefits could stretch far beyond the launch pads, boosting technological advancement, international collaboration, and economic diversification. As space tourism matures, it could become a multi-trillion-dollar industry, opening up markets that were once considered science fiction. It's not just about who can afford the ride, it's about who can build the infrastructure, design the experience, and fuel humanity's next great leap. The psychological impact of seeing Earth from space. There is a profound transformation reported by nearly every individual who has seen Earth from orbit. Known as the overview effect, this emotional shift is often described as a cognitive awakening, a realization of the fragility, beauty, and unity of our planet. Space tourists are now joining astronauts in experiencing this life-changing perspective, and it's reshaping how they view the world. When you're floating above the planet, national borders disappear, conflicts feel trivial, and a sense of global connectedness takes over. For many, this shift leads to greater environmental consciousness, empathy for others, and a drive to make a positive difference back on Earth. Some even refer to it as a spiritual or philosophical awakening. The potential societal impact of more people having this experience cannot be understated. Imagine a world where thousands of influential people, business leaders, politicians, creators carry this profound sense of unity back to their communities. The overview effect could serve as a catalyst for global cooperation, sustainability efforts, and social change. As space tourism expands, the psychological and emotional dimensions of these journeys may prove to be just as valuable as the scientific or economic ones. It's a reminder that sometimes, to truly understand our world, we have to step outside of it. The legacy of space tourism for future generations. As the space tourism era unfolds, we stand at the frontier of a monumental shift, not just in travel, but in how humanity relates to the cosmos. These first tourists are laying the groundwork for a future where space is not the final frontier, but the next destination. Their voyages today may be remembered as the spark that lit a fire of exploration that never dies out. Future generations may one day look back at our time as the beginning of interplanetary life, just as the first airplane passengers paved the way for commercial aviation. Today's space travelers are setting the stage for lunar vacations, Martian colonies, and cosmic civilization. Their stories will become part of history textbooks, inspiring generations yet to be born. However, the legacy of space tourism will depend on the choices we make now. Will we build an inclusive and ethical spacefaring society? Will we protect the cosmos from the same mistakes we've made on Earth? These are the questions that future historians will ask of us. Ultimately, the true legacy of space tourism isn't luxury or spectacle, it's possibility. The possibility that humanity can rise above limits, unite under a shared vision, and boldly step into the stars, not just as visitors but as caretakers of an infinite frontier. You've just witnessed the beginning of a new era where billionaires escape gravity, and humanity trades blue skies for the black void of space. But the question is, at what cost? Would you trust a machine to launch you beyond Earth? Would you risk everything for a glimpse of eternity? Tell us in the comments. Would you go to space, knowing you might never return? If this video made you question reality, like, subscribe, and join the shadows. The future isn't coming. It's already here.